Alrighty, Arlie. It has been a pleasure discussing with you about the role, the duties it entails again, and what our clients are expecting out of our candidate. So thank you for speaking with me on Christmas Eve as well,
Yes,
Arlie.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, Arlie. I would love to get to know your professional experience a bit further. So if you don't mind telling me a little bit about your professional experience.
Absolutely. So I'll go from most recent first. Right now, I just recently got my real estate license, and that's more of a long-term thing. Right now, I'm kind of putting it on the side, so doing as a side thing. Prior to that, I was working for the state of Florida as a revenue and tax specialist. There, I assist taxpayers, new business owners with new accounts. I also do a lot of enforcement action for the state. So a lot of visiting with the business owners and making sure they're in compliance, that type of thing. So that was a state position. I was there for 13 years. So when I retired from there, I think I'm kind of deciding I'd like to get back into management at this point. So that's kind of why I'm applying. I have a lot of years of skill in management and customer service, and combined with my experience in construction materials, that type of thing, I think it would be a great fit. Um, Prior to that, I was working I owned a home inspection company. So there I was doing residential inspections as well as doing inspections for insurance companies, that type of thing. So I also previously owned a remodeling company. And so there I did residential repair as well as commercial work. Um, I've also been in sales management as vice president of sales marketing for Signature Network. We're a marketing company. We would do promo products. So I ran a 9 state region. So my regional managers, I hired all of them, trained them, and then of course they would hire their representatives under them. That took up a lot of time. I'd spend days and evenings, making sure that my calls were all scheduled and everybody was up to date on what was going on with the company. So very, very fast active role where, a lot of sales, a lot of activity going on. So I love that. Um, Prior to that, going way back, I was a firefighter and EMT in Maryland. When I was up there, I worked for a contractor for NBC Network. So there I ran, I probably had about 300 people under me there, and I would train about 30 reps at a time with that company. So we did, it was a telecast that was a live pay per view. And so I managed and trained all the representatives for that telecast. So that was a big thing at that time. Um, so that pretty much sums up most of what I've done. I've worked in construction, different types of construction. I've worked with fire sprinklers. I've worked with awnings, steel, concrete, all types of building materials. I've also worked with lasers, not selling commercially, but I have worked with them, so I'm familiar. And so I think this role will be great for me, and I'd like to learn a little more about it. So,
Yeah, and I appreciate giving me further insight as far as your background.
mhm.
You have extensive experience with being a leader, managing a team as well, Arlie. So tell me, how many personnel were you managing at a time? Did you mention it was up to 300
What I
staff?
would do, yeah, I had about, there was probably 300 in the whole center. I would train about 30 at a time. So we would do script creation. Thing was, this was for the Olympics actually in '92. We were in Barcelona. There had never been a telecast done live pay per view in history before. So NBC bid on the project. They overbid. But anyway, so what we did was we were the contractor for them. We tried to stay out of the media because they didn't want the other media to find out what we were doing because it was going to be a big, it was a big deal, a historic deal as far as audio, video, and that. So anyway, yeah, I managed. I would train probably about 30 reps at a time, in the class, put them on the phones. go back, train 30 more. And so I had I probably had about a couple hundred on my side that I took care of, making sure they were trained. And we utilized temp agencies for that because we went through so many representatives at one time. We pretty much hired as many temp agencies as we could find in the area that could get us representatives. So it was crash course in, as far as telemarketing or customer service skills and that. So,
Well, that sounds like you led a phenomenal team that you got outside support to support you as well.
absolutely.
Tell me, Early, what would you say that your previous team would describe your approach to being a leader?
Well, another company I work for, which is ProMag Energy Group, they did air conditioning. And so I ran the, sales department there in-house. My representatives like me because I have a very open door policy and I like to address any kind of problems that come up right away. I don't like putting out big fires. I like little fires. So I always like to make sure my guys feel comfortable enough to come to me with anything. If something's bothering any of my representatives, I want them to come to me, let me know what it is, even if it's something small. But to them, it might be a big deal. So what happens is their production gets affected. Cost of goods go up because that employee might not feel like working that day because they feel slighted or they're upset about something. So I always try to make sure I address that, and that actually affects the company bottom line. It really does. Production and overall, camaraderie with the other employees. I want to keep everybody happy, and if not, I want to find out why, so I can address that and try to fix it.
Absolutely. That was very well said, Arlie.
Mhm.
Tell me what skills do you have that allows you to stand out to other candidates applying to the same role?
Well, as I said earlier, looking at the role, being that it's both a product as far as like audio, video, a physical product that's being sold, it's kind of along the lines of construction type of materials. I've worked in like the welding materials and metal and all of those type of things. I'm very comfortable with that. The product itself, my son actually, he's going to school to be an engineer. And so he has a lot of equipment, laser, 3D printer, things like that. So I actually on the side, I love to sit with him and watch him do laser cutting and things like that. So that, also personally, I get to see that on my off time, which I
Yeah,
enjoy. It's very interesting. So,
absolutely. It
um,
really is. It's a
yeah,
really
it's
interesting thing.
new age, and with my skills in management and customer service combined with that kind of thing, I think it's perfect. So I can relate to both sides of it.
Yeah.
I am very hands-on in management, so especially in the realm of, if there's a product needs to be fixed, corrected, anything I can do, I jump in there, take care of it myself if I can, because I
Absolutely.
don't want any of my workers thinking that I'm hands off or, oh, you can, don't come to me with a problem, fix it. I don't want to be that way. I want them to feel comfortable with me, and that way I have more of a leg up with them because they're going to feel more comfortable coming to me with a problem.
Yeah.
Or if they feel like, hey, I can't do this work, but I don't want to go to my manager because he's going to yell at me. Well, being that with my style and management, they feel more comfortable coming to me.
Yes.
But I will always look out for upper management. Always follow the rules in the handbook. I always go off of that. So, and disciplinary, things like that, I'm always very aware. I've been through a lot of different situations as far as, discipline and all that fun stuff. But so I'm no stranger to that. So I'm just well-rounded as far as my experience.
Yeah, absolutely. You sound extremely well-rounded. And again, the fact that you have the exposure or the knowledge of this industry is, the cherry on the cake here. So I would also love to ask you, Arlie, if our client chooses to proceed with an interview, which would be first a virtual interview, and then the second would be an in-person interview, what is your availability like?
I'm open to whatever schedule might be available. Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep, just let
perfect.
me know.
Awesome. And when are you looking to start a new role?
I could start anytime. Like I said, I'm not tied down right now with anything like a 9 to 5. So I'm open to getting started and jump right in. If they're looking for somebody real soon, get their team going and motivated, I'm there for them.
That is awesome. Well, Early, it was truly a pleasure speaking with you this morning. I'm going to stop the recording and then you and I will continue to chat once I go ahead and pause this. Let me go ahead and stop the recording now.
Thank you.